An old wise man was approached by a young man who was overwhelmed with problems. Without wasting any time, the young man immediately poured out all his complaints. The old man just listened patiently and attentively. Then, without saying a word, he took a handful of bitter powder. He then asked the young man to get a glass of water, and the old man sprinkled the bitter powder into the glass. Slowly, the old man stirred it and said, "Try to drink it and tell me how it tastes." "Ah, it's very bitter," the young man replied spontaneously. The old man smiled slightly, then invited the young man to walk to the edge of a calm lake, not far from his home. They walked side by side until they finally reached the shore of the vast and peaceful lake. Once there, the old man sprinkled the bitter powder into the lake, and this time, with a piece of wood, he stirred the water in the lake. "Now, take some water from this lake and drink it," he said again. The young man obeyed. He scooped up the water with his hands and drank it. The old man then asked, "How does it taste?" "Fresh, very fresh," the young man replied in astonishment. The old man asked again, "Did you taste any bitterness in the water?" "No, not at all," the young man replied. With a wise smile, the old man said, "Son, the bitterness of life is like this handful of powder. It doesn't change. The amount remains the same. However, the bitterness we feel depends on the container we have. If you hold the bitterness in a small vessel, like a glass of water, your life will feel so bitter. But if you enlarge the vessel of your heart, like this lake, the bitterness will dissolve in it, and you won't feel it anymore. So, when you face bitterness and failure, don't shrink your heart. Broaden and expand the capacity of your heart to receive and dissolve that bitterness, so it no longer ruins the peace of your life." The conclusion of this story is that the bitterness of life is something we cannot avoid, but how we respond to it greatly determines how we will feel it. If we only focus on the bitterness, life will feel very painful. But if we broaden our hearts and minds, we will be able to contain that bitterness and transform it into freshness and peace in our lives.